Well, hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from our news hub here at Tadessa Wakanda, also live on TV Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, we seek answers why the military invaded Ashaiman earlier today and on whose orders the operation was carried out and exactly to what end. We have the Deputy Minister for Defense and the security expert all joining us for this conversation tonight. Stay with us. Also, the Ministry of Health goes tough on questions as to why vaccines have been in short supply, though not certain of the specific date. Is hopeful of getting suppliers of childhood vaccines in the next few weeks. Does this bring relief to parents? We'll tell you more about that on Ghana Tonight. Meanwhile, floods are beginning to rear its ugly heads again, as we inch closer to the rainy season. Tonight, we have a tragic story of how two children lost their lives in today's downpour. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. I want to hear from you, especially on the situation that happened earlier today at Ashaiman. As early as about 4 a.m., we started getting reports. The Deputy Minister of Defense is with us on Ghana Tonight, answering all your questions about what happened today. The hashtag is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and Twitter. I want to hear from you and also your concerns, your perspective, your opinion. You have a say in what we say on the issues we're talking about tonight. Let's hear from you. I am Alfred Ocansey. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs. Family of the slain soldier in Ashaiman is in distress over the death of their son and hope to get justice. Mother of the late soldier could not hold back her tears as she recounts fond memories of her firstborn prior to the unfortunate incident.
Nanka oyali wo hono kura nanka yale nukura nkunu nanka nukura yesin wu ya na omo kume bana mame na no odin anu odin o.
The Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament says it will investigate the military brutalities in Ashaiman following the killing of a soldier over the weekend. Civilians were subjected to severe beatings by the military after reports of the soldier being attacked were rife. Ranking member on the committee, James Agaga, says the conduct of the soldiers was uncalled for.
Violence that resulted in the unfortunate death of the soldier, bring them to book, punish them before our law courts. But you see, anytime these things happen, we find that soldiers go out of the way and respond in a manner that brings shame to all of us. An example of what actually happened in Ashaiman, also occurred in Wa. And the question is, did the punishment serve as a deterrent?
Worried parents who have not been able to get childhood vaccines for their babies will have to wait for a while as the Health Ministry works to procure them in the next few weeks. Minister for Health Kwekwa Jimameno failed to provide a definitive date for the arrival of the much-needed vaccines.
He said in the next few weeks, all things being equal.
So if we could get some dates to few weeks could be months.
I think that the minister has been quite clear with the answers has been given.
Few weeks is not substantive enough to give some assurances to parents and families who need
I think the
vaccines.
response from the minister is that in the next few weeks, all things being equal, we should get supplies now that all of those funds have been made available to the necessary platforms. That would be the response from the minister.
A family in Botiano is mourning the death of two children after Tuesday dawn's torrential rains. The building housing the two children and their mother collapsed during the downpour. The devastated parents are finding it difficult to come to terms with the reality.
I have nothing to say. I only wish God could bring back my son, Morris.
President Akufo-Addo is expected to present the State of the Nation address tomorrow, Wednesday, March 8, in Parliament. But a cross-section of Ghanaians tell TV3 they are still trying to make sense of the many lofty promises made about measures to deal with the ailing economy in the last address.
The security system is not all that good. You cannot say you are secured when you go out. You want assurance for him. And the economy, everywhere you go, things are hard, really hard. And the education system too is not doing well at all.
We are using politics to drive people away from us. What we have, we are using politics to destroy this. What are we about? Lies or national interests like this?
See, that's the health minister earlier today. We've been asking questions about what the state of affairs is with the supply of vaccines, which is in short supply to the health institutions as we speak. He addressed the press earlier today. In fact, he was supposed to appear before Parliament. We understand that there was a communication, and so he rather chose to address the press, answer questions from journalists. We pose questions to him, less of the politics. It is obviously about the national interest, and that's exactly why even other persons in Parliament who are representatives of the people would ask questions because of the reality of the situation on the ground. And so earlier he also made a comment that there has been no deaths as a result of the shortage, so we shouldn't make a big deal about it. You see, but no one has to die before there's an appreciation of the urgency needed to address the situation that we're dealing with at the moment due to the shortage of the vaccines. Now, to give you an idea of the situation, I want to take a look at this. What's happening in parts of the northern region. I'll tell you, because currently all 16 districts in the northern region have recorded cases of measles. And also because of the movement of people from one place to the other, it could possibly be the case that some of these measles cases may have been recorded down south because of the movement of people. Now, the head of pediatrics and child health at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, that's Professor Alhassan Abdul Mumin, is going to be joining us later on Ghana Tonight, just to give you an idea of what's happening up north. But this is what we got to know about the vulnerable population who are at risk as a result of this shortage of the various types of vaccines that we're dealing with. It's not just vaccines for babies, as a matter of fact. The vulnerable population, you understand, are babies at birth, and then infants between 0 and 1 year, and then adults who are on medication that could affect their immune system. They are also within the vulnerable population as a result of this vaccine shortage that we're dealing with. From what we gather, there are 3 main types of vaccines in short supply as we speak, where these vulnerable population actually fall and why they could be affected. That's the polio vaccine, and then also you have and then the BCG and then the measles as well. Now, take a look at this. This is the regional breakdown and situation, how it looks like from what we gathered from our earlier reports. In the eastern region, we concentrated specifically Koforidua. That is the regional capital. The vaccine shortage, the types, we have the measles vaccine, and then also you have like tetanus, oral, and then you have the likes of Penta, Rota, all in there. In the Upper East region, Bogatanga, it's no different. The types of vaccines that are in short supply there, it's the poliovirus, the vaccine, yellow fever vaccines, and then when you come to the Upper West region, there's a Penta, yellow fever, and then you also have the poliovirus, the vaccines as well there. all not included in the monthly supply that we monitored within this period and what came through over the last 3 months. In fact, some of the health professionals there say that they have been battling with this short supply over the last 8 months, and it started sometime in 2022. So it's not something that is just from January to now that you're dealing with. Now, apart from that, you take a look at this as well. The Ashanti region also have their own to deal with. Look at what's happening in the regional capital, Kumasi. So you have polio vaccines that are also in short supply, then measles, yellow fever, rotavirus. Now, BCG we understand is giving to children at birth. And so we're going to get the details of that and why this is extremely, extremely important, especially for babies, and if they stay for long, how this could impact on their health. Meningitis, vitamin A 1000 and 2000 as well is in short supply in parts of the Ashanti region. Central region, Cape Coast specifically, BCG syringes are also in short supply there. And remember, these children who are born need this. The oral polio vaccine and then also the rotavirus vaccines there. In the Western region, Takoradi, we have all these vaccines also. In fact, not even in shortage. They cannot be found. They're nowhere to be found even to talk about it being in short supply. Measles, yellow fever, also in short supply. The vaccines for those in short supply in the Western region as well. So clearly that's the picture and how things look like right now with respect to the regional breakdown of this vaccine shortage and the types of vaccines all of these regions need, and why this is an urgent situation that we don't have to wait for anybody to die before we do the right thing and the needful. So stay with me. We'll get to the Northern region where we understand the case is prevalent. All 16 districts in the Northern region have recorded cases of measles. While we are at it, as we condemn the killing of this 22-year-old soldier with the Ghana Armed Forces band in Sunyai, it's in the Bono region, who was reportedly stabbed to death by unknown attackers somewhere in Ashaman. The excesses we saw has also led to questions as to why this continues, even when the military says they punish their personnel who brutalize innocent citizens. There's always that excess. And we ask, what is the standard operating procedure when there's something like this? So one question that runs through many of you who have been sending us questions ahead of this interview with the Deputy Minister of Defense is, what is the standard operating procedure? We'll find out from him because it's just been one too many. Take a look at this. It's just a section of a number of infractions that we've had, or the excesses that the public is at the receiving end whenever the military decide to take the law into their own hands. March 2023, that's what we've seen. August 2022, Lower Manya Krobo. Obuasi in July 2022. We can talk about what's happening also in Chirobuasi, and then other related matters as well. So we'll get into all of this. Stay with me here on Ghana Tonight, together with your questions as well. Security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman, together with the Deputy Defense Minister, will be talking after this quick break. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Dede, and as you already know, when it comes to quality phones and accessories but yet affordable, it's Franco Trading Enterprise. We are #1. We have television set from 24 inches to 65 inches, Franco air condition from 1.5 horsepower to 2.5 horsepower. We have mobile phones, iPhones, Nokia, Samsung, Huawei, Infinix, Alcatel, and accessories like phone protectors, phone covers, pen drive, hard drives. We have skilled personnel who will serve you as you wish. So look no further than Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise, the home of quality air condition, television, mobile phones, and accessories.
Celebrate with the Guinness Air Muscle promo. From today, win your your share of over 3 million Ghana cedis worth of prizes whenever you buy a bottle of Guinness, Star, or Origin. Dial star 1000 hash to submit the code under the crown, and you can win cash, free airtime, and drinks. So, look sharp. This advert is FDA approved. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years. Not recommended for pregnant women.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom tina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na mkwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo he bibia na so mo medu me fire no ene ma won kra mienu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what chair okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Joseph Sema na nkoyie e paso na ma yemre nyina na magina sebema na me no be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Commercial sex work is illegal in Ghana, but it persists, and not even its illegality and the dangers of the trade would stop some from daring even more for extra cash. In Sperm Merchants, Stanley Nibleu investigates the dastardly practice of the sale of sperm of unsuspecting clients by commercial sex workers to ritualists. But why do they do what they do?
If somebody bring me Ghana and says she come and my vagina and pay 50 million, and I pay the money, so I have to leave for my own.
Condom there no hotels are cleaners no me if I never catch on some paint so me ejuma no mo pomo to me into committing back on Jana one man tip kakra. And
what is the position of the law on such matters?
There is a fundamental principle in law that the Romans call it ex topi causa non orito axio.
Watch Sperm Merchants on the assignment on Wednesday, March 8, 2023 at 9 p.m. only on TV3 and across all social media platforms at TV3.
Welcome back to Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Soldiers earlier today invaded a shaman. They assaulted and brutalized some civilians, subjecting them to all forms of treatment. Now, here are some of the victims recounting their ordeal.
Extremely worried. First, let me express my profound condolence to the family of the soldier who lost his life. I am informed that a young soldier in his 20s sought permission from barracks, his superiors, to visit a shaman, and whilst on his way to
If you do, I'll take your time. If they say they catch you, I don't worship you. You don't know call
If you go there, they go wound you. If you the food, they go wound you. You see, oh my back,
You're coming, Emilio.
Oh, tu gan kalera. Acha mamu gba don ya kai don mu.
Any reason?
So in those videos where some of the residents recounting the ordeal at the hands of the military earlier today, you also saw some military choppers, helicopters in the skies there and armored vehicles. That sends a clear signal that was this sanctioned by the military hierarchy? Okay, let's also establish this, that we are not discounting the loss of this soldier who's been allegedly murdered or killed some 3 days ago. We were at his family house. We spoke to the deceased soldier's mother, which we're going to be playing to you shortly. So we're approaching this conversation with a balanced view. But what we want to establish is what is the standard operating procedure when this happens? Because this is not the first time we've seen the military excessively carrying out a mandate and the public, innocent members, general public, are the receiving end. This certainly cannot continue. So let's go on to the telephone lines now and also welcome on Zoom Dr. Ishmael Norman is a security analyst and joining us on Zoom. Dr. Ishmael Norman, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight.
You're welcome, Mr. Ocansey.
Great. Let me also welcome General Kofi Amankwa-Menu, who is a Deputy Minister of Defense. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for the Deputy Minister for Defense, for joining us on the telephone. Mr. Kofi Amankwa-Menu. First of all, let's establish this. What briefing has your ministry got, the Defense Ministry got, about what happened in Ashaman earlier today?
Well, Saturday, a young soldier who was going to visit his family was attacked and killed. And the attackers actually took his mobile phone. This soldier was actually in uniform when he was killed. He was brutally murdered. And we think that it's becoming too many where soldiers every now are killed. And so the military at this dawn organized a sanctioned coordinated operations to really get those who committed this serious crime.
I see. So the deceased officer was in uniform. This, what you call the sanctioned coordinated operation, have you seen the excesses? The videos of residents being beaten to pulp, whipped for no specific reason. In fact, some people recount that they were in the staff bus of their companies going to work. They were ordered to get down, roll on the road when it was raining as early as 4:30 a.m. Have you seen those?
I think that if there were excesses, I will apologize if there were excesses. Sometimes when operations are being carried out, you get one or two people who will be carried away, and then they engage in excesses. If anybody has suffered that, I think that it's only proper that we apologize. But what I want to put on record is that this is a military sanction coordinated operation.
I see. But you're apologizing, but you're also emphatically stating this is a sanctioned operation by the military to find out what exactly. Why did you sanction this? What was the end objective? What were you looking for?
Yes.
I see, but help us. I mean, on what objective? I just want to understand that, yes, you've established that this was sanctioned. So was the mode of operation that we saw this sanctioned coordinated operation what you sanctioned, as in the military personnel going into the area, rounding up people, and then beating people up who had, from what we've seen now, some of them were just walking on the street. There was no clear establishment of the association with the established crime of the murder of this soldier. Is that what you sanctioned them to do?
Yes, yes, yes. It's to get those who brutally murdered the police officers. And the one thing is that people must not only see the military as being gun-wielding people. We have all manners of in the military, and for them to really, for the military high command to sanction such operation, it means that they know exactly what they were looking for and exactly what they were doing. I
see. Hold on a bit for me, Mr. Mankwameno. Bring in Dr. Ishmael Norman, security analyst. So Norman, I mean, you've heard the Deputy Defense Minister. I wanted to establish a few things before I bring you in here. So yes, it is indeed an activity, what he described it as a sanctioned coordinated operation. And we've seen this excesses. Is there any real justification for this? I mean, now that we established that it was actually sanctioned by the hierarchy.
Okay, Mr. Ocansey, the military, just like any other entity, the soldiers, like civilians, have a right to cause citizens arrest. As a body, they have the military police that also can cause arrest. The law is a bit dicey about their right to cause arrest outside of the base. But when one of their members are involved and there is the mandate to stop harm to another person or another soldier or another civilian, and they are sanctioned to go out there to look for the perpetrator of the crime, then I think it is a bit not fair to play Tuesday night quarterback to try to see whether it was sanctioned properly or it wasn't sanctioned properly. When it happened, nobody knew who the perpetrators were, but they needed to go out there and find out. It could have been anybody. So if they deployed a helicopter, just to be sure that if they need air support, that they could provide it. If they went with armored vehicle, it was to make sure that the men and women that they deployed to go find the perpetrator will be protected. I totally stand with the army. Esprit de corps is like a unit in the army, in every army in the world. It is not a body, it is a spirit of the soldier. Okay. It is what binds soldiers together. When you kill one, you kill all. But you see, if you're going to take somebody's phone, why do you have to kill him?
What you see, that said,
why are we interrogating the soldiers now?
Dr. Ishmael Norman, so I think that that crime in itself, I haven't heard anybody condoning the act of murdering or allegedly killing this officer. Concerns have been largely raised about the excesses that we saw in the process of carrying out this sanctioned operation. And I know you've seen some of the videos. We've been showing our viewers some of the videos. I mean, asking people to lie down in free-flowing rainwater, lashing them in the process while they roll on the ground. What does it add to the carrying out of the sanctioned operation? That's what I want to understand. Do you condone those excesses as well?
Well, if they were trained criminologists and they were conducting criminal investigation from point of view of professional criminologists, I would not condone it. But these were amateurs, and they were sent to basically look for the perpetrator, and they had to use whatever means possible.
And does that include?
Then they can apologize. They can apologize later.
But you see, that's
so. Let us focus on the mission. The mission was to find a perpetrator. They used whatever means possible available to them without causing any excessive harm to any civilian. I think that.
But Dr.
Shimona,
not to interrupt you, I beg you, forgive me on this. And that's where the concern is. You say that they're supposed to carry it out without necessarily causing any harm to the public. That is not what has happened. We've seen people sustaining injuries. And apologies to our viewers that we didn't give that earlier warning of some of the videos being quite graphic. But we've seen the videos of the level of injuries that innocent members of the public, I say innocent because they have not been proven guilty, being beaten.
Okay, we need to educate the Ghanaian public about the distance they need to keep. When a police officer or a military officer wants to cause an arrest, the distance cannot be less than 20 feet. When you go near and you are using threatening body language or whatever, and you are talking nonsense, you allow them the right to use excessive force to cause your arrest. So we don't know what the citizens did. We know that some of our people are very crafty. When the cameras are not there, they can tell you all kind of beautiful stories.
No, but Dr. Shimona, this we are seeing, we have videos. This is not somebody telling us. We are showing videos of what was happening. Some of them were dragged from their rooms. Okay, some of them were dragged from their rooms. And I think that even the deputy minister is apologizing for the excesses. And that's why I want us to separate the issues. An operation has been sanctioned. In the process of carrying it out, if there are excesses, I don't think we have to lump them all together to say it's an operation, they can engage in excesses and then come and apologize later. How about if their excesses led to the death of someone? Can the apology bring the person back?
Who is apologizing for the death of the soldier? Who is apologizing for the death of Captain Mahama, Major Mahama? Who is apologizing? And the apology, the person is gone. Who is the civilians? If you're going to rob somebody because you are too lazy to work, because you want an easy life, you're going to rob somebody. You don't have to make it into a murder case. And once you step beyond the boundary of decency, you allow indecency into the whole mix. And that is what we need to look at. Too many of our youth don't want to work. You see a soldier, maybe they wanted to be a soldier themselves and they didn't get a chance, so they see a soldier. Out of jealousy, you attack the man, you took his phone, and then you kill him. What is the point of that? Every soldier will get upset. I was once a soldier, and when I heard it, I was very upset. Because you don't have to steal my thing and kill me on top of it.
Dr. Shimona, have you seen some of the videos of the excesses?
I have seen all of them. Are available to everybody.
Do you support that? Do you support what you've seen, what's happened?
I will be man enough to say that we could have avoided the excesses, but I look at the instigator of the excesses. It is not the soldiers. It is the civilians who chose to steal and kill. They created it. That is the etiology of the excesses, and we have to go back to lay the blame. Yes, the soldiers are 30% responsible for the excesses, but 70% in terms of contributory negligence goes to the civilians who chose to kill a soldier who had done nothing against them.
But how do you establish that these civilians who are being beaten are the ones who actually perpetrated the crime of killing the soldier? Reason why you think that lashing them in water while it's raining is justifiable?
That is why I'm saying the soldiers are 30% responsible.
Let me, Mr. Amankwame, so the ministry, defense ministry, what do you have to say about the excesses that we've been showing, which happened as a result of the operation that was sanctioned?
I think that I admit that in operations of this nature, you get one or two people who will sometimes be carried away. But we, or I will apologize on behalf of the ministry and the Ghana Armed Forces that if innocent people suffered such excesses, we apologize. But this is not to say that the operation actually went beyond, boundaries. No. But if there are excesses, of course, we apologize for that. And we apologize for those innocent Ghanaians who probably are residents of Ashaman, who probably were caught up in this excesses.
Indeed, and you've re-echoed the apology from the Defense Ministry quite consistently over the last few minutes you've been talking. But while we talk about the apology and also condemn the killing, I must put it on record, condemn the killing of this young military officer, you would agree with others who also say that this has become one too many, Mr. Makwamenu, that when this happens, you sanction an operation, then there are excesses that innocent members of the general public are the receiving end, and then it happens again. Why?
Is that for me?
No, this is to the Deputy Minister.
We are doing investigations, and again, I wanted to be on record that the military will stop at nothing until we get those who committed this heinous crime. It's becoming too many, my brother. Sometimes I wonder if it's a crime to wear the uniform or to just step out there to say you want to protect our land. Is it a crime to wear a uniform? These are people who have sacrificed a lot for the safety and security of our nation. But anytime there is a problem, hey, the soldiers are given the bad name just so they can be harmed. The soldiers will stop at nothing until we get the perpetrators of this heinous crime. And then to also put behind us Mr. Mahama, dropping to this young man, dropping to many of our soldiers. Just as every Ghanaian deserves to be protected, the soldier in uniform, whose duty it is to protect our land, will also be protected.
Indeed, I think that's a fair call, yes. And we all support the call to have you investigate the perpetrators behind the killing of this soldier. But also, are you investigating the excesses, the military personnel who were behind these excesses that also led to members of the general public who have not been pronounced guilty being actually beaten to pulp? Are you investigating that as well?
I mean, obviously, I mean, we will search and then look at all the whatever went on, and then deal with, all those who probably got carried away to engage in the excesses. Yes, we will do that. I mean, no two ways about that. We will do that. But what I want to tell all residents of Ashaman is that this operation is not targeted at all residents in Ashaman. I believe that this operation is not being carried out in the entirety of Ashaman constituency or municipal. We have a specific, place where we are undertaking this operation. And so I will encourage all members or residents of Ashaman to go about their normal duties. The military is not in there to harm them. We are sorry if they were excessive, but the military, again, will not stop at anything until we get the perpetrators of this heinous crime.
And that apology, again, well noted. I mean, Dr. Ishmael Norman, this is the Deputy Defense Minister talking. I mean, there's a certain acknowledgement that no matter what the case might be, the public-military relationship is important. He's apologizing for the excesses, but it should concern you as well that, for instance, what happened a couple of weeks ago in the northern part of the country where now residents, because of these instances, would want to also resist any incursion by the military. That cannot help in a country with the rule of law, isn't it?
I understand that. You know, antebellum analysis of military action is always quite easy for people who have never been soldiers, because in the thickness of things, you don't have that rational judgment of deciding whether what you are doing is fair or not. Your goal is to get to the end of the mission. I understand that the two events, the Boko event has no correlation to what happened at Asham. So we shouldn't combine unrelated things together, because if so, in the long run, everything is correlated to everything else because it's about Ghana, isn't it? So if you're talking about the rule of law, the rule of law says that you must not kill anybody. So when you kill the person, for me, I think these are some of the reasons why I support the capital punishment. The rule of law doesn't allow you to take another life just because you want something from the person. So I think we have to put it in a context. And the context is this: citizens have to be more responsible, more respectful of soldiers and police officers and immigration officers and all the members of our security agencies. When you attack one, you attack all, and you will get punished no matter what. They know the consequences. The soldiers know the consequences. But having been a soldier, having been involved in something similar before, believe me, it's not that the soldiers went there with no awareness that what they are doing could get out of hand. And it did get out of hand, and I admit to that. But it is only 30% contributory responsible assigned to the soldiers. Because if the death had not happened, if you just rob the guy and you go your way, why does every robbery in this country have to become a murder case? And that's what I don't understand. So for me, the antebellum analysis that we are doing today, we need to really go back and look at the etiology. What led to this crisis that we're discussing? And if we cannot get the youth to behave properly, we need to educate them properly.
No, and I hope you also would appreciate the processes, the modus operandi in also correcting what led to this or addressing what led to this. It could either aggravate what you are trying to correct or actually bring you the needed results. And that's where I'm trying to help, in fact, get all of us to separate the issues, and the deputy minister consistently apologizing for the excesses and not the approval of the operation that got them there in the first place. But hold on a bit, Dr. Ismail, and I'm rounding this up. And to you, Mr. Mankwamenu, what is the standard operating procedure in situations like this? When the military is called and you sanction an operation like this? What happens?
Just as you said, what I use the Metro Mahama situation as an example. The military went in there, rounded up people were screened. Those who were innocent were allowed to go home, and those who were for want of a better word, I would say guilty, were also made to obtain the law in court. And so that is basically what it is. As we speak, 7 people have been rounded up. Screening is ongoing. Those who are found culpable will be dealt with by the law court, not the military. They will be dealt with by the law court.
Mr. Mankwamenu, I appreciate your time, and I thank you very much for joining us, and then also establishing the position of the ministry on this, and then also the apology to the residents who were at the receiving end of these excesses. I'm sure that Dr. Ismail Norman, you're on the same page of these excesses not being countenanced, and the way forward is all what we're looking for. But I thank you so much for your time, as always. Dr. Ismail Norman is security analyst. Also, Dr. Mankwamenu is a deputy minister of defense. Earlier, we visited the family of the late soldier, spoke to the mother of the late soldier. And this is what she shared with us. Please take a look.
Few days ago from Sunyai, where he's stationed.
But that was free Hobano, or Fremi Soba, but where the one Fremington mean that was say, or Bashama. In the end, that's one of my mountains to say, Nebano, Obe we say, Nanka Oyali or Honoka and Kayalen Kunu, and Kanukra, you see, we are ya na. I'm a come bana mamma, and I know a thing, I know a deal.
The entire family is in distress, but hopes they will get justice. At the police district headquarters in Ashaman, preparations were underway.
So that's what we established, and this is something that we're keeping an eye on quite closely and how things are playing out there. And lots of you sharing your thoughts with us on this on both sides, but also making clear reference to the position of the Ministry of Defense on this, and especially the excesses that we saw, of which the members of the general public were at the receiving end of it. Let's go to the shortage of vaccines, another equally important issue that we've been keeping an eye on over the last couple of months. Take a look. The Minister of Health, Kwajima Meno, earlier today addressed the press. He was supposed to go to Parliament, but we understand there was a communication, and so he chose to rather address the press and give updates of what's been happening so far about the shortage of vaccines. Take a look.
Ghana's Minister of Health has been making efforts to ensure we secure adequate stocks of vaccines despite this global challenge. We have made all necessary efforts to ensure that despite these challenges, we secure adequate stocks within the next few weeks. The recent shortage in vaccines for measles, as regrettably as it is symptomatic of the steady global decline in measles vaccination since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. The paradox of the pandemic is that while vaccines against COVID-19 were developed in record time and deployed in the largest vaccination campaign in history, routine immunization programs were badly disrupted. This was said by the WHO Director General, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus. So what we have, we are using politics to drive people away from us. What we have, we are using politics to destroy this. What are we about? Lies or national interests like this?
So, in the interest of the nation, we sought to find out exactly when vaccines will arrive in the country so that the health facilities across the country would get what they need. My colleague, Noble Crosby-Annan, was there for us. He asked those specific questions. Here's what we got.
We could get some dates to few weeks. Few weeks could be months.
I think that the minister has been quite clear with the answers has been given.
A few weeks is not substantive enough to give some assurances to parents and families who need vaccines.
I think the response from the minister is that in the next few weeks, all things being equal, we should get supplies now that all of those funds have been made available to the necessary platforms.
Oh, so whatever the few weeks means, there's no definitive timeline. But it's something that we cannot wait. The urgency of it is important, but you decide. We went visiting a number of hospitals in the Ashanti region, the Western region, the Northern region, and the Greater Accra region. Here's what we found, and how parents are dealing with this shortage of vaccines, especially for newborn babies as well. Take a look.
I delivered
just this dawn, but there is no vaccine available. Every mother wants the child to be healthy, so I feel bad. I delivered this Friday, but my baby has not been vaccinated. I feel bad.
Please, I need for my child right now. And they told me that if left with only one, I will get for my child. But it pains me a lot. It hurts me. I need it for my child. My child wants it to be healthy and good. But right now, they are telling me I will get only one. But it's not good for my child too. So please, help us to get the remaining ones.
I went there several times, but they said some of the vaccines are not yet in, so I should wait for a while. When it comes, they will give me a call. I'm worried.
He was supposed to take the injection on last month, that he didn't get it. They say my next visit, and my next visit is today. So I'm going in to check. When I didn't get it, then I'll be a bit worried.
Since last month, that is baby, when she was 3 months. I had all, but we didn't get the polio vaccine. So this month we were hoping to get it, but today it's the same story. We still didn't get it today. You know, the vaccine is very important, and we have to make sure our babies get all the vaccines and all in the right doses. But she hasn't gotten it for 2 months, so I don't know what might happen. She got some, yes, for the previous months, but we are hoping for the better.
My name is Georgia and my baby is 9 months old.
Okay, how difficult has it been to get some of the vaccines?
Oh, my baby have to take 2 vaccines, the polio and then the yellow fever. But there is shortage, so right now we are waiting for the nurses to provide some for us.
And how long has it been trying to get these vaccines?
From 2 months now, my baby has not been taking the 2 vaccines.
That's the situation and what we found out earlier. Let's go on to Zoom now, and we've been joined by Professor Alhassan Abdul Momin. He's the head of Pediatric and Child Health at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Professor Alhassan Momin, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. First of all, let's confirm the reports that all 16 districts in the northern region have actually recorded cases of measles. And please tell us how bad the situation is.
Thank you so much, Alfred, and good evening to everyone. It's true that all the 16 regions in northern region, all the 16 districts in northern region have recorded suspected cases of measles. I'm choosing my words carefully because there is some difference between the confirmed cases and the suspected cases. And of course, the key difference is that when we say the case has been confirmed, it means that laboratory-wise it's been tested and the results is positive. So for suspected cases of measles, each one of the 16 districts in northern region have reported some cases. And the situation, I would say, is serious. The reason why it's serious is that for some time now, we've not been seeing measles, even if they report 1 or 2 cases in a while. But now, from November until this month, the region has recorded more than 500 cases, suspected cases. And if you zoom down to the teaching hospital alone, where they refer most of the cases who are severe. So if the patient requires some oxygen support or more management, serious management that cannot be catered for in the district hospital, they refer them to us in the teaching hospital. And since November last year, for the teaching hospital alone, we've had more than 100 cases of suspected cases of measles. And for every day that passes, the numbers are not decreasing. Today, I was in the wards, and the infectious disease center where we were initially keeping them is now full. So it has a bed capacity of about 14, and then all of them are full. And because of that, we have to admit the other cases into the pediatric ward itself. This is something that we started doing. I mean, we try to avoid admitting them into the general ward. The reason being that once you admit them to the general ward and you have other cases, other patients who are not measles cases, then the risk of them actually going back home, going and coming back to the hospital with measles is very high. It's a serious situation.
It's serious indeed. And you talk about no day passing by without you recording cases. The health minister today addressed the press. He said that vaccines are expected in the coming weeks, no definitive date. Certainly this does not reassure you in any way, does it?
For me and for the Pediatric Society, which I represent, I am the chair for Northern Region, we are worried about this, pronouncement by the health minister. The reason being that just last week, we were told that by the Director General of the Ghana Health Service that the vaccines would be available within 2 weeks. So we were even saying that 2 weeks was too long, although this was a definite statement. And we thought that we would, this week or getting to the end of this week, because 2 weeks would have meant this week, by the end of this week, we should be getting the vaccines. So that is what we were hoping for, although we thought it was even a long period. But then the pronouncement of the minister actually gives no, definite timelines. And this is quite worrying because when you are in an outbreak situation, there are a number of things that you need to do. One of them is if the vaccines were available, we can actually vaccinate all those who did not get their vaccines on time, at least to prevent them from being exposed. And if any child is being exposed to another household member or any other person with measles, and you vaccinate them within a short period of time, so let's say within 72 hours of life, after they get in contact with the patient with measles, the chances of them getting the infection is much lower. And even if they got it, then you reduce the risk of them having a severe infection.
Right.
So if the vaccines are not coming in, it means that for those who did not get it already and those who get exposed to the other children or patients with measles stand a higher risk of developing measles by themselves.
Doctor, that's Professor Alhassan Abdul Moment, thank you so much. And I appreciate your giving information about how dire the situation is. The head of the Pediatric and Child Health Unit at the Tamale Teaching Hospital and the Northern Regional President of the Pediatric Society of Ghana appreciate it as well. But a family in Botiano is mourning the death of 2 children after this dawn's torrential rains. The building housing the 2 children and their mother collapsed during the downpour. Christian Yale was there.
That is Elizabeth Amwako, mother of the 2 children who perished in Tuesday's flood. She's totally broken, traumatized, and left in a state of utter shock, struggling to come to terms with how she lost her 2 children, aged 8 and 12. It was around 3 a.m. on Tuesday when torrential rains collapsed this mud structure housing them. All effort to move the 2 children to safety failed as the gushing floodwaters carried the 2 children away.
We all acted swiftly when the building collapsed. We tried to save the children, but our efforts were too late.
This is not the first time floods have claimed lives in the area. For the father, Ishmael Achu Sevoji, the death of his 2 children have taken away his happiness.
I have nothing to say. I only wish God could bring back my son, Morris.
This fence wall, as you see in your shot, was the one that was collapsed by the blood water. As you see here, it struck the back of this building, which was housing the mother and the 3 children. Almost everything they have in this room have been destroyed, and none of them can be retrieved as of now. The gushing floodwaters swept the 3 children and the mother this way, all the way, because the water filled almost every part of this area. This is the other side of the building. The entire structure is beyond repairs. Resident of Babadogo in Botiano, in the Botiano English Yamanfro constituency, cannot bury their emotions. They are calling on NADMO and individuals for urgent help for the family.
Right now, we don't know where the family is. So we appeal to all
Christian Yali, TV3 News, Botiano.
The rains are upon us. In the coming days, we engage the National Disaster Management Organization on these happenings and what to expect going forward. On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. You have a good night. I am Alfred Ocansey.
Yanara Sassini, they are boarding in my eye. Mojana, Nana, no shegu, near the 2 of my eye.